this morning with Ella Whelan and Benjamin Butterworth. So let's kick off, Ella, with you, should we? And the Times. And police officers, there's been this issue about banter going too far, but they're getting now scared to use any sort of banter in the office at all.
Well, so obviously you have to, first of all, caveat everything with the fact that in relation to the police, particularly the Met, there has been an issue with some pretty disgusting WhatsApp messages being sent around, in relation to Nicole and Bieber. Police officers found to be sending images of victims on WhatsApp and things like that. So, it's well known that, in particular, the Met has been putting special measures for various reasons, but one of them being that there's been a lot of pretty horrible, bordering on kind of misogynistic stuff being flying around WhatsApp. And Maggie Blythe, who was appointed by the National Police Chiefs Council to kind of deal with this and tackle some of the issues within the Met, obviously knows that that's an important thing. But as a sort of side issue, she's mentioned here in the Times that tackling that doesn't necessarily mean that you'd then bring in the kind of regulation into the workplace that would outrule any kind of informal discussion or banter.
They're all going to be on tenterhooks, though, aren't they?
Well, it's a bit difficult talking about this in relation to the police, because you think there are some sections of the workforce in which you got to be at the height of professionalism. Don't be making these, don't be making these kind of jokes, but it's hard to talk about this in the current context of what's going on with the police. But it's important that some of these kind of restrictions of bans on jokes, bans on staring, whatever that means, regulation of language in the workplace has been happening in offices, call centres, places where you're not dealing with very sensitive material like you might be within the police. And I think that probably is a problem, because we know that most people spend the majority of their waking hours at work. You can, for a lot of people, work is only made bearable by the people who you work with, particularly if you're doing kind of tedious, mundane, repetitive stuff. And if you can't, in the canteen, have a joke, have a flirt, lots of people meet their partners at work, for example, because workplace romance is, you're too knackered to go out. So that kind of regulation, I think she's right to say that banter is a bit of a loaded word because people think it's used as an excuse for bad behaviour. But I think you can tackle sexism and nasty behaviour without going full kind of Mary Whitehouse and saying no discussion of anything fun at work.
It is difficult because one man's banter is another person's completely offensive language and offensive culture. And I think it's very difficult to know where to draw the line if you're a boss.
But that's the thing, if you're a boss, but I think most employees can work it out together. I think most employees can say to each other, "Oh, that's a bit far," and then you go that way rather than jumping to the HR regulation.
Yeah. Let's talk Her Majesty and the Prime Minister, whoever that may be, Benjamin.
Whoever. It's a mystery, but I think we have a good idea that it's going to be another Liz, judging by the polls. Well, the Queen is usually, obviously, when there's a new Prime Minister, they go and meet her at Buckingham Palace, and they're appointed, and they drive back, and we all follow from the helicopter.
That's right.
Well, it looks like this time it's not going to happen, because she's in Balmoral, which is her Scottish home where she spends most of the summer, and according to the Sun newspaper today, she's going to stay there on the 6th of September, the date that the new occupant gets the post, and they will instead have to fly up and see her, or travel up somehow. Good luck getting a plane or a train.
Yes. Maybe they'll do it by Zoom.
And I can't imagine they'll do that.
Well, I don't know, the Queen's very good at Zoom.
She is,
But you get the photograph, and it's called the kiss of the hand, right? When she formally makes them the head of the government. And so, according to the Sun, this is how it's going to happen this year, and that's because, I say this year, we have a new PM every year, seemingly, and the reason for that is because she has mobility issues, and doctors have recommended that she shouldn't be travelling back down to Windsor Castle, which is now her permanent, regular home.
Quite right. Make the Prime Minister come and see you.
Do you think?
That's the pecking order anyway, isn't it?
Yes.
The Prime Minister should go and see her.
I mean, it's quite a long journey, but, to get from here to Balmoral.
No, but it's a long journey for the Queen to come down just to do that one.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's the first time, and actually they do reference that Prince Charles has been taking on an awful lot of the duties that the Queen would normally do, but a source says that this is the one thing she absolutely will not hand over. The monarch is the one that appoints the Prime Minister.
The monarch is the monarch is the monarch.
Exactly.
I love the headline on the front page of The Sun, though. The Queen will see you new, Prime Minister.
Very good.
Appallingly anti-Scottish, but you know what I mean. I think that's just very funny.
I wonder if The Sun in Scotland has the same.
Ooh, that's
same
a good point.
Oh, that's a fair
That's
point.
a very good point.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Yeah. If you're watching from Scotland, let us know, please.
We've got a copy of The Sun.
Yes, the Sun, yeah, down south. But what is the headline up there in Scotland?
Yeah.
That would be very interesting to see. Because
won't be that.
you were editing The Sun on Sunday. The Sun, sorry, in Scotland. You'd say, I don't think that's really appropriate.
Exactly.
Fair point. I hate to say it, but we're out of time. It's been a tight, busy morning. But
Yeah, well,
Ella,
lots happened.
Benjamin, thank you both very much.
Energy price cap and everything.